Thanks for tuning in. This is Keelan with All Seasons Gardening. Today I'm showing you the cattle panel trellises I made this year for my garden. All it is just some cattle panels, T-posts, and J-hooks. So relatively simple and easy to make. I'll go ahead and give you some measurements here. So you're looking about 4 feet wide, or the walkway. And then from the ground to the peak of this, you're looking about a little bit over 7 feet tall. And then when you come to the side, for the length, you're looking about a little bit over 8 feet long. And so the material and tools that you'll need for this is 2 cattle panels, some T-posts, a stepping stool, and then you'll need a measuring tape, safety glasses, fence ties, zip ties, needle nose pliers, and a hammer of some kind. And so your most expensive cost on this is going to be the cattle panels. Now, cattle panels range anywhere from $25 to $30 a piece. So these first 2 panels that you see here on this trellis, I actually traded these for some tomato plants that I had growing in my hoop house. And so I had tomatoes that I started from seeds, and they were in 5-gallon grow bags with tomato cages. And we made a trade, and he's happy with it and I'm happy with it. And then also what you can do is, go on places like Craigslist, or just keep an eye out at department stores or hardware stores. Because for this single panel here, I actually only got it for $5 at a hardware store. And I don't know if that's because it was during the winter time when I bought it, or because it's a little bit bent and warped. But for $5, I'm not complaining. Plants don't care if it's warped or bent a little bit, but it'll get the job done. So anyways, I'll go ahead and show you guys how to make one of these trellises here. You can either do a single panel one or a double panel one, the ones I've just showed you, but I'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing that I did to get started on my trellises was actually till up the area that I'm putting these trellises at. But I actually went ahead and just tilled up the rest of the garden too. So first off, what you want to do is go ahead and get your measuring tape and measure 100 inches, as you can see here, all the way down. And the reason why I did 100 inches is because these cattle panels are 50 inches wide. And so once you have your measurements there, go ahead, get your T-posts, and then I'll show you here. Kind of can see I'm not all the way to the end of the measuring tape. I'm a little bit in, and I'm doing that just so I make sure I have enough room for the J-hooks to wrap around. So I'll just kind of stick that in the ground. I have to step on a little bit just for now until I can get it where I want it to be. And then for my middle one, I'm going to come at the 50-inch mark and put a T-post in there. Just like that. And then come here to the end where we're at the 100-inch mark, and I'm going to come in an inch or two, just so I have enough room for those J-hooks. Let's get those started. Alright, and then next I'm going to show you me hammering these into the ground. Alright, so next step is hammering these posts in, and then once I get those hammered in, I'll measure from each post 4 feet to get the other T-post in. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so I got the other side posted in. I'll finish hammering those in, and then the next step is just going to be make sure everything measured correctly, looks correct, and then get the cattle panels and start getting them on. So see you in a little bit. Alright, so now I'm going to undo my zip ties that I used to transport the cattle panels. Fold them in half, use some zip ties, and put them in the back of my truck. Still folded in half. They were still about 8 feet long, so I only have a 5 foot or 6 foot bed, so they were hanging out a little bit, but I was able to strap them down and get them home. But trying to reuse these zip ties instead of just cutting them off, because I'll reuse them for when I actually put the cattle panel on the T-post here. And so better to reuse it than to cut it off and throw it away. So now I gotta sand up, watch out. There we go, and now I'm gonna get the cattle panels on some T-posts. Alright, so I already got my cattle panel kind of where I want it, so now I'm just gonna grab the other end of it and hopefully just be able to pull this thing over to these T-posts and get my zip ties ready. Put a couple of these in my pocket. Let's see if I can get one of these up. Alright, so I'm going to try to have this middle T-post to have some room so I can put the other cattle panel right beside it, and so they'll both use the same T-post in the middle. So I just got to arrange it the correct way. Now where I kind of got it where I want it, I'm going to use a zip tie to keep it there. Here to the other side here. And with these T-posts to try to, or these cattle panels, try to pull it in to the T-post and then use the zip tie to keep it there until I get the J-hooks on. Alright, let me show you what I got going on here. So, there's my zip tie there, where the cattle panel and T-posts meet, and then got my other zip tie here, and this one here. And so I'm pretty much going to do the same thing for the other side here, but right now I'm just worried about getting one side done. So I'll go ahead and get this other side done real quick. Alright, so had to make some adjustments for this other side here. Just had to move it around and everything to get it where I want it, so now I'm ready to go ahead and zip tie it. And pull that cattle panel in when you're zip tying it, just to make it a little bit easier to put those J hooks on later. Here. Alright, I'm going to do the second one here. Alright, so looks the same way as just the other side here. Let me try and get you a complete picture here. So yeah, not looking too bad. Something pretty easy to do with some cattle panels and everything. Alright, so now I'm going to get the second cattle panel on. You know, showed you how to put this first one on, so I mean, if you're not needing two together, you know, you just stop right here. But go ahead and get this second one on. Got my zip ties in my pocket to get it where I want it, and hopefully it goes on pretty easy. Alright, so I got the basic setup here, and now it's just to put it exactly where I want it. Check the other side real quick. Alright, that looks good, and do this other side here. Zip tie was twisted. Running low on zip ties. Got one on the ground here. Alright. So let me show you what we got going on here. So it's looking pretty good. You'll notice I put a walkway in between the trellises, just so you know I wouldn't, if I put them all together, I have to walk all the way to one end or the other. So at least this way, you know, if I see something in the middle, I don't have to walk all the way to the end or whatever. But I mean, if you don't need that, if you want to combine them all, I mean, wouldn't see any problems with it. So go ahead and show you that. Alright, so we're looking pretty good. Next step is going to be getting your J-hooks and connecting the cattle panel to the T-post. So I'll go ahead and do one of those real quick and then give you guys a close-up of that. And then whenever you put these J-hooks, I didn't really worry about, you know, putting them, I think it's recommended every foot or 2 feet, something like that. I just put them wherever I felt like they needed to go, where it's kind of bulging out with the cattle panel. And that's seemed to work out pretty good. And then just use these needle nose pliers to get that last little bit bent over. So I'll try and show you guys what I'm talking about here. As you can see, maybe there's a little bit kind of sticking out right there. So my pliers have a little circle in the middle of them. So I just come here and put that circle in there and kind of pull it down, or at least try to anyways. Might even get the end of it. There we go. Bend it down some. And then sometimes when you do this, this little tip will be kind of sharp. So I just use my pliers, the ridges in them, come in here and just take that sharpness off so no one gets cut. But you see, relatively easy to put one of these J-hooks on. I'll go ahead and pinch the J part here, and then we're good to go. So I'm gonna finish putting those J-hooks on. I'm not gonna show you putting those on, each individual on. It's pretty repetitive, but I'll go ahead and get those done and show you guys the finished product. Alright, so here's the finished product for those middle cattle panel over there, just showing you the whole setup. Hopefully you can see it there. So, you know, I got about, let's see, the cattle panels were 4 feet wide, and I have 5 of them, so 5 times 4 is 20 feet on one side, so a total of 40 feet of rows that I'll be able to grow what's called a yard long bean. And actually, just give you some more information on that. What the plans are for these trellises is that I actually have a contract with a seed company to grow stock seed for them. So it's a seed that they're needing to sell, and it's called a yard long bean. And you know, it's in the name, yard long bean. You know, the bean is about 3 feet long, or can grow about 3 feet long, and the plant itself can grow about 6 or 7 feet tall from the research I've been doing on it. So pretty easy to do. You know, you can save some costs, you know, if you can find some cattle panels at a discount or trade them or anything like that. But also, you can see here, I did put the walkways in the middle. I mean, they're not wide enough for me to walk in between them. Kind of have to stand to the side there, but makes it a little bit easier to get to whatever I need to, instead of having them all connected where I have to walk to the end of it. So pretty happy with it. Excited to get started to grow some yard long beans on them for the contract, and I'll keep you posted on how that goes and show you the progress of it. But just want to tell you, thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you again.